station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
That's affirmative. I am ready for the event.
Young Astronauts Club, this is Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is Yak. How do you hear me?
I read you loud and clear. よく聞こえます。こんばんは。
Good evening. So let's say it together. Good evening. Good evening.
こんばんは。
Good evening. Mr. Koyama, can you make your self-introduction? Well, how do you do? I am Chuya Koyama. I'm a cartoonist. I'm author of Space Brothers.
はじめまして、宇宙兄弟の漫画、私も大好きで、
How do you do? That Space Brothers is a cartoon that I love, and I've been reading it in Houston. Thank you. Thank you. So now let's start with the communication from Sendai. Miss Sanami Suekane in Sendai, please. Yes, my name is Sanami Suekane. Now, if you break your bone in the space, will you cure faster than on Earth, or will it be the same? Or will it take longer time in space? Yes, that's a good question. Thank you for that. Well, we don't know the details yet, but when the fracture cures, you have to have the bone and you have to have blood that is flowing into around that fractured bone. And on Earth, for example, if you break your bone on the leg, it is difficult for you to walk, not to walk, but in Earth, you don't have to walk. So in that respect, it might be that it might be easier to cure on the space, but we're on zero gravity here, and so the cells of creating the bones is something that we really have to look into and we have to study in the future. This is a micro world. So we do want to, I do hope that you will be the one to make a research and study on that aspect. Thank you for your good question. Okay, the next question is Ms. Momma. My name is Minami Momma. Now, when you're in space, do you catch cold? And when you fall ill, do you drink medicines, or do you check your fever using thermometers? How do you cure illness in space?
はい、医学の質問ありがとう。風邪ひくと辛いよね。
Thank you. Thank you for your medical question. When you catch cold, you suffer. It's painful, isn't it? Well, we have brought various things to cure disease here in space. We have the stethoscope and thermometers as well, and we do have some equipment to check your eyes as well. And usually when you're healthy, it is all right, but if you catch cold, we do have some medicines for that, and also painkillers and other general medicines. We do have a few amount, but we cannot prepare a lot of medicines, and that is a task that we'll have to address going forward. But in addition to the illness, for example, there is a time when you have appendicitis, for example. So how to deal with that is a question, because you suddenly get appendicitis even when you're healthy. So thank you for such question. Okay, next we go to Mr. Oji. Tsukasa Oji is my name. Is the space food, does it the same than on Earth, or does it taste different?
はい、楽しい質問ありがとう。
Thank you for your exciting question. Now, I think that it does not taste different. Like, for example, I have here a teriyaki chicken. And if you open your bag, you can eat it as it is. And this is also a kind of pea. And what we do is to add some boiling water to make it soft. We have about 100 types of food, and I think it tastes the same as on Earth. Food is something that will be a material to compose your body. So you please check out what you eat. And thank you for your good question. Right. So we had some questions on illness and also on space food from Sendai. Now, Mr. Furukawa, we have questions from children in Tokyo. First of all, Mr. Arai. My name is Tomoaki Arai. Mr. Furukawa, you are a medical surgeon. Did your vocation of being a medical surgeon help in becoming an astronaut?
はい。医者として身につけてきた知識とか技術は役に立っています。
Well, as a doctor, I have obtained various knowledge and skills. For example, when I conduct experiment here, for example, taking some blood from my colleagues and also supersonic devices, that kind of skill is useful. And once, in case my colleague would fall sick or sustain injury, I can cure for them, I can treat them so they feel safe. In case of astronaut, there are some common aspects that we all study beforehand, and there are aspects where we utilize each people's personalities. But for common area, we learn the things that are necessary for astronauts. But for others, we divide our labor. For example, those who are very good in handling machines will be the one to be in charge of maintenance and repair. And also for doctors like me, will take part in treating our colleagues in case they fall sick. And also it is very important for children, for you to learn how to study beforehand. Thank you for your question. Now next we go to Ms. Katsuta. My name is Hazuki Katsuta. Can you sleep well every day in an environment totally different from Earth? Is there anything you take care of every day to sleep well?
はい。これもいい質問ですね。私の場合は
Yes, that's a good question too. In my case, I can sleep very well. Well, originally, I can sleep anywhere very well, so I'm not taking particular care. What I think was interesting in the space is because we sleep in the sleeping bag, and when we go inside the sleeping bag, and when I close my eyes, we really don't know which way I am looking. I do not know whether I am looking down or looking up. We are not, because there is no gravity. There is no bed that we are on, like on the Earth, and that is the interesting part. But on space, I can sleep very well. Thank you for your question. Next, Shimokawa. My name is Hiroto Shimokawa. I'm in the 5th grade. How does air bubble perform inside the water in space?
いい質問だと思います。
That's a good question. Well, this, for example, is a green tea. I'll let you see this. And you can see that there is a bubble inside the green tea. Now, this is there's a big bubble and small bubble, and the bubble does not necessarily go up like on Earth. Like, for example, Mr. Wakata, the astronaut Wakata, and an American Don Pettit astronaut, had studied about the bubble inside water. They took a video, and so they showed it on internet. So please take a check. Now, if you cannot see it, please ask somebody in JAXA. Thank you. Thank you very much. Right. So there's so many things that you wonder what's happening in space. Now, next we go over to Nagoya. First of all, Ms. Mitsuda, please. My name is Ms. Chiyo Mitsuda. Well, you wrote that in space you feel full quickly eating meal. Is it easier to lose weight in space? Well, yes, it is true. I feel full quickly, eating meal very quickly, so it may be easier for you to go on a diet. I lost weight too, and because of zero gravity, all my body fluid goes up, so my waist and my legs are thinner. So for women, it could be a good news. However, what is troublesome is that you have a round face now. But this swelling of the face will go away in just a few weeks back on Earth, so it is only temporary. Thank you for your good question. Next, we go to Mr. Kadota. My name is Takeshi Kadota. My name is Takeshi Kadota. Well, on the ground, the blood, because of the gravity, many of the blood would go down to your feet. But in space, there's no up and down. So I think the blood will circulate regardless of your position. Does it affect your brain and health?
Well,
yes, I don't think there is any impact. When I reached the space, there was this shift of body fluid. As I just said, the blood and the body fluid goes up into your head, and I was really able to feel that the blood has concentrated in my blood. It sort of was a little painful, but in about a week or so, that symptom had faded away, and I returned to normal. I could see that the brain is able to identify or detect that there was such a lot of blood, and so it tried to drain that blood from the brain through urine, and I was able to feel the body reaction, proper body reaction. Thank you for another medical question. Now next, Mr. Yamane. My name is Sora Yamane. Now, before you realized your dream of becoming an astronaut, you spent so many years. But even before that, in order to become a surgeon, you studied a lot to obtain your position and honor. So you resetted all that, and you aspired to become an astronaut. What was your aspiration? I am now in the second grade of junior high school, and there are lots of things I want to become, and I would like to try in the future. What is the most important thing in order to realize your dream?
いい質問ありがとう。
Yes, thank you very much for your good question. Well, in space, I really did want to work in space. I had a strong aspiration for the examination to become an astronaut. So there are so many people who are trying to pass that exam. I thought that it might be very difficult. But if you pass the test, your life will change. I thought if I did not challenge, I may regret it in the future. So that's why I try to do my best as much as I can, and I challenge the examination, and luckily I passed. So I think that it is very good that you have a lot of things in your mind that you want to challenge in the future. So to aspire to and to have dreams of becoming something in the future and to exert your effort in order to realize your dream is very important. And how you could achieve your dream, I think you should think about how you could become a step closer to the dream. So if you maintain your dream and if you continue your efforts, I'm sure that you will be able to realize your dream. Thank you very much for a lot of questions. Now we'll go back to Sendai once again. Now, Ms. Shindo. My name is Ai Shindo. What is the mechanism of recycling water?
はい、いいポイントですね。
Yes, that is a very good point that you raised. Water is recycled over and over again. It is because we have an device to do that, and through filter, we clean the water, and we also use chemical reactions as well, so that we could drink the water once again. This water is in the air, and when you chill the air, the water becomes condensed, and we use that water to recycle. We also use the urine as well. We can treat the urine and change it to drinking water. In space, water is very scarce, so that is why we recycle the water. Such technology can be used at the times of disaster as well on Earth. Thank you very much for a good question. Next, we go to Tokyo, Mr. Kubo. My name is Tatsuki Kubo. Mr. Furukawa, what was the hardest training for you? And when it was very hard, what were you thinking of when you were training? Yes, that is a very interesting question. Well, physically, the hardest was the survival training conducted in Russia in winter. The Soyuz capsule has 3 people on board, and in Kazakhstan, we'll be landing on Kazakhstan. And if there is a problem, we have to rush and get out into the Earth. We really don't know where we will land in that case. It might be in the snow in the middle of the winter. So that is the assumption we had when we carried out that training. And we have this communication, and they would know where we'd land, but it might be that it will take some time for the rescue workers to come, so the 3 will have to survive. So we spent 48 hours in the outside in the winter, and the temperature was minus 20 degrees, and it was so cold, and we did not have any stoves to warm ourselves. And we used a survival kit in the space, and what we did was to use axe and to cut trees, and we burned that tree. But this was the first time that I couldn't sleep at night because it was so cold. It was very hard, but it was a good training for me mentally. I belonged to a baseball club when I was small, and I remembered about my training and practice I had to undergo when I was in the baseball club. That was hard too at that time, but looking back, it wasn't that hard. So that is why I remembered about my experience at the baseball club, and I thought I will be able to endure. So maybe you would be facing something difficult in the future, but please hang on. Now we go over to Nagoya, Mr. Matsushita. My name is Kazutoshi Matsushita. What is the difference in developing medicines in the space and ground? That is a good question, too. Well, in terms of potential in space, if you are to manufacture medicine, there is this concept of medicine laboratory or plant, manufacturing plant in the space. But actually, this was not realistic because there is a limited means of bringing those manufactured products back to Earth. But what we are doing now is conducting some partial experiments and production, because on space we can have a better quality crystallization. Now, on Earth, crystallization is not the quality is not that good, but on Earth we have good equipment for analysis. So what we can do is to use the 3D structure analysis on the Earth, And then what we could do is to develop new medicines up in space as well. Like you might know, but we had experimented some things for influenza, as medicines for influenza, and also muscle atrophy, and also some other medicines that may be used to cure cancer. And that was a very good question, pharmaceutical and medical question. Thank you very much. Now, we'll go back to Mr. Koyama. He would like to have some words. Thank you very much. I'm the cartoonist, Koyama. Thank you so much, Mr. Furukawa, for joining us, and everybody here was intent in listening to your answer. Can I ask a question from my part? Yes, please. Well, after the launch and until now, what was do you have any experience that you were surprised on space?
不思議というわけではないんですけども、
Well, it wasn't really a strange experience, but in the Soyuz spacecraft, I had a window there, and the first time I saw Earth from that window, I saw the atmosphere layer, which was blue. At that time, Soyuz was spinning, and it's not that I was always able to see that Earth, but when I saw the atmospheric layer, I was very much touched. It was thin, but that atmosphere is protecting Earth, and that's what I was able to see with my own eyes. And here on in the International Space Station, I could see Earth as well and the atmospheric layer, and whenever I see it, I'm moved. Now, it reminds me that we really have to cherish our planet. Thank you so much for your question. Thank you, Mr. Furukawa. So please let us thank Mr. Furukawa by all. Thank you very much. Mr. Furukawa, thank you for joining us today.
ありがとうございました。とても興味深い質問ありがとう。
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for many interesting questions. Thank you very much. Let's all wave our hands. Thank you.
どうもありがとう。みんなも不思議だな、なぜだなって思う。
Thank you very much.
してくださいね。
Please continue to foster your scientific mind of wondering about things. Thank you very much. With this, we will end our communication with Mr. Furukawa. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Young Astronauts Club Station. We are now resuming operational communications.